This podcast is part of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. For more great podcasts, head over to bigheadsmedia.com. Hi there, folks, and welcome to TV Tuners. It's a television podcast for the true fanatics. It's a weekly dive into the latest in TV news and reviews. I'm your host, Swanson. With me, as always, is my co-host and young, impressionable lady, Stairmaster. Yeah, you seem like you're a well-developed character.
Swanson Keel slapped me real hard. I don't want to be around him anymore.
I'll reprimand Keo later. And of course, with us as always is our other co-host and guy desperately trying to save Earth, Kioran.
You can't keep doing this, Char. You can't keep doing this.
The Earth must fall.
It's the destiny of Char Asinable to enforce discipline.
Yeah, discipline daddy, Char.
The Earth sphere needs a spanking. Go grab my belt.
Yes, welcome to the podcast. We're back.
What?
But not in a way you expected, perhaps.
We're back from the beach.
Yeah, we've been on a long beach vacation. We're all tanned.
Yeah. I think I have
We're
melanoma.
waxed and vaxxed, ready to go. And, we're here talking about not whatever episode 150 was going to be, but instead we're catching up with some Buy Me a Coffee episodes. Starting with this one, brought to us by our friend Puh Pfeiffer.
The bad boy of living in Pennsylvania and drinking beer and building model kits.
Yeah. Wow, that sounds really hardcore.
It's a hardcore life, and someone's got to live it. He does. He told us that this was what to watch. We didn't really follow his actual role, which was that he wanted us to just go into this blind. We did all. We
told him to fuck off.
Yeah, we did all watch regular Gundam and Zeta Gundam before this movie.
But
A thing I would recommend, probably.
But only me and Kyo went and watched Zeta, Double Zeta.
Yeah, well, I feel like I didn't miss anything.
Yeah, Char wasn't in that.
Yeah, but the dummies were. That's where they originate.
Yeah, we would have really been missing out on some key details knowing about how they came up with dummy technology.
I feel like they used a couple of those in Zeta.
Did they? I feel like there's specifically an episode in Double Zeta where they're like, hey, we got fake asteroids now, check this out. Hey, we got one that looks like the Zeta Gundam, check this out.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know, it's all blending together to me, partially because I binged everything, so my brain is just like...
Yeah, and I watched it over the course of a year.
Well, I guess the only thing that is a sort of question from not watching Double Zeta is, wow, what happened with Axis? Why was it just abandoned?
They all killed each other, and then the Federation just came in and cleaned up the rest.
Yeah, sounds about right. So yeah, Char's Counterattack, the first Gundam movie, such as it is.
First wholly original Gundam movie.
Yeah, that's true, because they were compilation films.
Yes.
It's a 1988 animated classic.
The most important film ever made.
Yeah. Now, Stair, this was the highest grossing Gundam film before Hathaway came out?
I think so.
Or is it still the highest grossing?
I think Hathaway has it beat. That might just be because of inflation.
Yeah, that'll get you, that inflation. So, as expected, the Char does perform a counterattack in this.
What?
Yes, against society.
Yes. Do we want to let's dive into it a little bit here? Let's go through a little bit of the backstory in terms of Char and Amuro's history for some people who may just be listening with no Gundam experience. I do not recommend, by the way, but hey, you do you. Amuro, he's like a pilot boy.
Think of like two guys. There's a blue guy and a red guy, and
okay.
The red guy doesn't like the blue guy, and he like throws stuff at him, and the blue guy tells him to stop, and he punches him a couple times.
Yeah, that sounds.
The red guy is trying to kill the blue guy because they're on other sides of a war, but it's nothing personal. But then the red guy decides to have his like surrogate sister figure fight in the war, and at first he uses her as like just another soldier, but then kind of develops weird feelings, familial feelings, quasi-romantic feelings, and then the blue guy accidentally kills her.
And then he never gets over it, ever.
Oh, he gets over it briefly, but then he meets a bunch of dirtbag people and kind of loses his faith in humanity.
Yeah, that's true. That'll do it.
And his ex ruins everything for him.
Yeah, it's a real shame how that all went down.
Yeah.
And as such, it comes to this. They don't waste any time, by the way, getting into this plot. They don't want you to think about why Char is evil. He just is. They don't have time really to go into it. It's just, hey, listen, Char's going to drop an asteroid on Earth. And we're like, oh, all right. That sounds bad.
Maybe they should stop him, I think.
Yeah, sounds like that's going to be a problem.
Like, if think of it this way. If I saw somebody about to drop an asteroid on the Earth and cause a nuclear winter, I'd be like, hey, you better stop. And then I would sort of
be like, no, and hold my hand out, like, impotently at it.
Yeah, as you, like, get incinerated.
Yeah.
I would charge up I would do a pretend Kamehameha wave hoping to blast it away, but of course it would, I can't do that.
Yeah, it would just crush you.
So yeah, we get this scene on the moon.
Yeah, crush me, not obliterate me, just like squish.
Yeah, you just get squished.
Where some guys are working on this cloaked thing, this cloaked mobile suit, and they're also explaining the entire political setup.
Pretty much. Basically, the gist of it is that Char Aznable has returned, and he
declared war on the Earth Federation.
Yeah, he's leading Neo Zeon.
The second Neo Zeon.
Yeah, the remnants of two previous incarnations of space noids, as they're called, people who live in space, who are, gonna challenge...
People who were born in space.
Yeah, people who are... Not even people who live, because it's been so long. It's been 93 years at this point.
Mm-hmm.
That people
Plus
have
some change.
Been born in space.
Yeah.
So,
and also, there's a Gundam.
Yeah, there's this thing called a Gundam.
Wait, whoa. There's a Gundam?
Yes, a new Gundam.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
A new Gundam called New Gundam.
Yeah, the RX-93.
Is it strong?
Yes, it's the strongest there's ever been, Keo.
Whoa. They keep making stronger and stronger Gundams.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like the continuing wars, the continuing need to war makes them continuously create new powers. So
anyways, we cut to India. To like northeast India. These teens are running from the riot police. And one of them's got this baton that's like more of a battering ram. It's so fucking huge. It's like the size of a small child.
But they get beat up by the police.
Well, yeah, except for this one girl with green anime hair.
Yeah. This is our figure character, right? She's the main character in this.
Well, the director Tomino kind of said she only existed because the screenplay needed it to work. More or less his words.
That's just good screenwriting, actually, when you think about it.
But this is Quest Pariah. And she is kind of interesting because she is kind of like the inspiration for Asuka from Evangelion. I should mention that Char's Counterattack is like the Evangelion guy's favorite film.
Wait, who's Asuka?
Asuka is the redhead one.
Yeah.
She's from Germany. Her country's responsible for the holographic map that Nerve uses.
Yeah, she. You see, Shinji makes her sick.
Disgusting.
Yeah, Pariah is a suitable last name because, ooh boy, she's something in this film.
She's what we call problematic.
She's sort of like Camille when you think about it. Her parents are just complete shit. Yeah, so immediately she gets taken back to her father, who's like the vice prime minister of the Federation, and they're evacuating because this huge asteroid's about to land on Tibet.
What's his name? Adonar?
Adonar.
Pariah.
Yeah. Which I think is a German last name, but it's his first name because this is Gundam. And also, we get a little bit of characterization. She bites her stepmother on the hand when she tries.
Yeah.
So she decides to stay on Earth.
Is that even her stepmother? I feel like that's just like a lady.
That might just be his mistress.
Because she just leaves at a certain
point. She does
point.
call him dear, though. So that seems a little bit more than mistress type stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Adonar is an ass. He's a huge jerk for the majority of his time in this film.
Yeah, he takes her to the spaceport. They're jumping ahead in line in front of all the civilians, which is where we get returning Gundam characters, Mirai, Bright. Yeah, oh, wait, no. We cut to space at this point when they're driving off.
Yeah, which is when we get
the battle of Fifth Luna.
Yeah, the first battle with Char and Amuro.
This is good because it's only 3 minutes in and we get a space fight.
Yeah, a good space fight.
And we get our first kill in the movie where a guide says, "Oh no, the meteor is descending to Earth," and is immediately struck by a beam rifle and explodes.
Yeah, I love that's one of my favorite Gundam tropes is when someone says a line and then it immediately leads to their death. Like, there's one later in the movie where a guy is bumping to see if one of the asteroids is a decoy, and he says, "This is a real rock," and he just gets murdered.
Yeah, he crashes into the rock. But yeah, he's like, "This is a real rock." And Amuro immediately kills him.
It's like, there's nothing. One of the best parts about Gundam is just like horrible final lines for people.
That's how I'm gonna die, probably.
Yeah, you're just gonna be like, "Oh no, that's a real rock."
If I'm lucky, I'll be the guy who notices there's a Gundam in the area.
A Gundam?
Yeah, Amuro gets into this battle with Char. He doesn't.
We first see
battle with what's this guy's name?
Which is like
Gyune
Quest. No, what the fuck?
Gyune Guess, right? Gus?
Yeah, that's. We'll call him Christopher because he's kind of like.
He's a giant fail son.
Sort of, yeah. He's like if Christopher and AJ did the fusion dance. And the fusion wasn't bad because of AJ. Yeah,
he's like, he's Char's, like, hand-picked guy who's, like, doing stuff.
In Super Robot Wars T, he's sort of like Char's replacement for Camille. And he's got, like, a huge inferiority complex about it.
Yeah. Also, he's a cyber new type, which Char does not like.
So, yeah, they're fighting on the surface of this asteroid, and Gyune gets his ass kicked. Which is even funnier when you realize he's got a new type mobile suit, while Amuro's in an old type mobile suit.
You ever just have like a really expensive guy around, you're just like, "Hey, you costing me a lot of money, so do your job right."
Yeah, Char's frequently talking about how much it costs to give this guy enhanced reflexes.
Yeah. It's just like every time he's on screen with him, he's just like, "You're a lot of money, man. Can't let you die."
So yeah,
He sunk a lot of money into you.
This is where we also get the GZ Easy, the production variant of the Zeta Gundam, which is one of my favorite mech designs.
Let's get Stairmaster some cyber augmentations to improve his podcasting.
Oh, so I stopped talking over people?
Yeah, could you imagine it? Like, he senses when someone's about to say something.
Can I shut up?
And whenever he doesn't, we're just like, "Stair, we spent a lot of money on you, man."
Kyo's like, he's oversensitive. And young.
And I'm just like going up the stair. I'm just like, "Listen, Kiyorai and I are never thinking of replacing you."
And then we have an aside. We're just like, we need to replace Stairmaster.
So yeah, Amuro has Gyune dead to rights here. He shoots him with the beam rifle, but a blast comes from above and intercepts that blast. Which is only possible because... Yes.
Yeah. Char comes in, saves this guy's bacon. And
Amuro's like, what the fuck? What is this pressure? Yeah. And then we get the lightsaber noises. The actual Lucasfilms lightsaber noises.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Huh. They're in the credits. Industrial Lights and Magic, I think, or Skywalker Studio, one of the two.
Yeah, and they come to this fight here.
And Gyune tries to interfere, and gets his ass kicked even more.
And Char's just like, come on, let's go. He's like a disappointed father.
Yeah, like, first he tries chasing after them when they're jumping around. He gets hit by a mine.
Oh, yeah.
And then offhandedly, Amuro shoots him while he's fleeing from Char's funnels.
Yeah, that's another... is this a thing that also came up in the Double Zeta, or is this new?
What, the funnels?
Yeah.
No, Haman Karn had them on her Quibbly.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
And they had the bits in Gundam, but those were attached by cords.
I don't think they called them funnels, though, when she used them.
I think they did. I think that's where the term was introduced.
Oh, all right.
There was a lot more funnel action in Double Zeta, though, that's for sure.
Yeah. And I think this is like the peak of funnels. I don't even know if there's any funnels in Victory Gundam. I know there aren't any in F91.
Funnel. This is the peak. Funnels have never been as popular as they are right now.
So we get a bit between Amuro. He's asking Char why he's doing this.
Yeah, and Char is essentially just like, cuz.
Can we talk about funnels?
Yes.
Sure, yeah.
That's a crazy thing they came up with out there in space.
They look cool.
Yeah, you're going to use your mind to control little tiny, like, robots.
Yeah.
Like little laser boys.
Like, that's like the untold horror of the Gundam series, is that they somehow militarized new type powers. It's force that was supposed to connect human beings. Instead, they just figured out how to aim weapons with it.
Imagine if they had figured out funnels when Camille was still able to pilot a Gundam.
He would have had a lot of fun with them. He would have been
a threat.
Yeah, he would have killed even more people.
Oh no!
And he wouldn't have felt guilty about it either.
So yeah, Amuro, he's here.
But you can't do anything against Char. Because...
Well, yeah, he's in an old suit, and Char is in this big, beefy boy.
This big red guy, the Sasabi.
Yeah. That's not fair.
But Char still decides to get out of there because his mission's done. You know, the asteroid's going to hit Earth anyway, so what does it matter?
Yeah, and that's his only reason.
That's right. Nothing else.
Absolutely.
As for his reasoning here, it's he explains it a bit more later when they come face to face, but pretty much the Earth is, a giant cesspool that's polluting, or humans are a giant cesspool that's polluting the Earth, and he's going to just wipe out everybody left on there.
Not cool, Earth.
Well, everyone who was cool on the Earth sphere died at the end of Zeta Gundam, presumably. Yeah. Or Double Zeta, pretty much.
Well, especially in his mind.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Listen, there's a lot you can read into this version of Char.
So
it's been what, 8 years since Zeta Gundam in this?
Yes. Zeta Gundam was UC-87.
He's had a lot of time to sort of sit there and stew over everything that's happened since then.
He's angry.
Yeah, he's not a great guy. He's not happy.
So yeah, we cut back to Earth. We're at the spaceport where Mirai Bright and her children are trying to get the last flight. Fifth Luna wrecks all their shit.
And this is when we get introduced to Hathaway.
Yeah.
Bright Noah's son.
Reintroduced.
Well, yeah, he's now enough to be a protagonist. Or at least an annoying kid. And he's one of those in this.
Yeah.
He's what's his face from Zeta 2.0.
It's Cats.
Yeah.
So
he's a bit more functional than Cats because he actually killed at least 2 people.
Yeah, so the Bright family's arguing with the Ticket Man, and Adonir overhears them and decides to take Hathaway with them because of a political favor he owes some guy.
Yeah. So Hathaway goes, and this is when he gets to bond with Quest, who he instantly develops a crush on.
Well, he's 15 in this.
Yeah, and what Quest is supposed to be the same age, I imagine?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Nothing at all creepy about what happens later with the relationship between Quest and
Char.
And Char. Nothing wrong with that. So yeah, Hathaway, he's there. They're hanging out. It's a lot of wow, I'm going to space for the first time. Can you believe that?
No, I can't believe that.
Amuro and
we
Bright
cut back. Yes.
This is when we get introduced to what's the name of this ship?
The Callum.
Yeah, they, after all of these years, the only 2 people that the Earth Federation can trust to get the job done are Amuro and Bright.
Well, Ostanaji's there too, the mechanic from Gundam.
Yeah, poor Ostanaji.
Ooh.
Things go better than they could have for him, but still not great.
So, I need to mention that before this movie was made, Tomino did write a novel, technically 2, that this film is loosely based off of. And one of the important changes this film does is, in the novel, Bright has a beard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I don't know how I feel about bearded Bright.
He shaves it at the 3rd act, right before the final battle, but...
So he's serious.
Yeah.
It's like a lazy beard type deal?
Yeah. The other big difference is that instead of the Sasavi, which is just this big red guy, Char is piloting the Nightingale, which is like a merge of the Quibbly, the O, and the Zeong.
That sounds strongish.
Yeah.
So it's a big boy.
Yeah, the mechs there are way more stronger. So anyway, Amuro and Brad are talking about how this meteor is going to hit the Earth, and Amuro's like, did they do an evacuation? And Brad's like, no.
And then we get the scenes of devastation. It's not a Gundam production if we don't get mass casualties.
Yeah, we get Terminator 2 Judgment Day on these poor people in Tibet.
Yeah. Yeah, the asteroid ends a lot of people's lives,
but it's only
phase 1 of Char's counterattack plan.
Also, before that, we get a brief scene of them trying to shoot the meteor out of the sky with colony lasers, but they're destroyed by terrorists.
Oh yeah,
this caused a bit of a stir because the terrorists are basically shouting divine judgment right before they suicide bomb the place, and that had a lot of connotations with Japan's militarist period.
That's not fun.
So yeah, the asteroid hits. Everyone's like, "Damn, I can't believe we didn't stop that asteroid." Amuro is very critical here. He's like, "Why were they're so inept at everything?" There's an interesting read here of Amuro as a guy who is he's aware that he is the only person capable of doing anything to stop Char.
Yeah, he's in hell.
Yeah,
it's kind of just explaining his general sour mood this movie.
Char is also apparently the only one aware that Amuro is the only person capable of stopping him.
Yeah, it's sort of like the Matrix Revolutions.
Expand on that.
Oh, in that film, Neo sort of represents hope and optimism, while Agent Smith is nihilist and completely consumed by his Freudian death drive.
All right. Yeah, that is sort of Char.
Yeah.
Yeah, Char's a real depressed boy in this movie.
Yeah.
We see him giving a speech to all the troops and stuff, and when he's done and goes into the room with officials, he just says, "I feel like a clown."
Yeah. Clown world. So at the same we also get a scene of the shuttle that Quest and Bright and Hathaway are on, dodging the meteor. That's where we get the first indication that Quest is a new type.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because she's shouting out directions. Which I don't think the pilot actually listens to.
No, he's probably busy being like, "Oh, fuck, a meteor!"
Yeah, and Amuro at this point decides to go to the moon to pick up the new Gundam.
He needs a new
Yeah.
Gundam so he can take on Char.
He's like, the only thing I can fight Char with is Gundam.
Yeah.
Emphasis on gun.
He arrives at Granada
Yeah.
and meets Chet.
There's a very strange line here because Amuro looks at this and he says, "I've heard of gun, but damn, look at that." It feels very unlike Amuro.
You can teach an old Gundam new tricks.
Yeah, so they talk about this thing that they've been working on called the Psycho Frame.
Yeah, we had the Psychomu, which lets the machine respond to your brainwaves and amplifies other people's brainwaves. But what if we made the entire cockpit out of it?
Sounds great. What's the worst that could happen here?
That's just crazy enough to work, is my opinion on it.
That's just psycho enough to work.
I can only imagine that Anaheim just has a mass grave of people whose heads exploded testing this thing out.
Yeah, all unmarked.
And also, Chandis offhandedly mentions that they're making mobile suits for Neo Zeon as well.
Yeah. Chan is another interesting character in this, in that she's much less developed than Quest, but equally interesting in terms of development.
Well, that's the other big change. In the novel, she doesn't exist. Instead, it's Belterchica from Zeta Gundam.
Ooh, dodged a bullet.
Who's also pregnant with Amuro's child.
Dodged a major bullet on that one. Instead, what we have implied is that Amuro is essentially some sort of ladies' man because he's gotten with two different women at least.
He's got functioning social skills, unlike Char.
Yeah, unlike Char, who is a king, a no-fap king.
Yeah, it's my strong opinion that Char's never done a single sexual thing in his entire life. He thinks about it, but he decides against it.
Do you think he's impotent?
I just think he's not in touch enough with his own emotions to he probably felt something for Garma and then he was like, "Nah, I gotta kill that guy." And then he felt something for Rakoa and then he was like, "I've gotta push her away though."
So yeah, we cut back to the Neo Zeon fleet. They're retreating after dropping the asteroid. The Federation is in chase. Char gives them a giant holographic speech about how they're going to send some mobile suits to divert them.
Yeah,
we get another battle sequence. We
get a lot of, or not a lot of, but we get a scene where Char is sort of just sitting there listening to all of his advisors speak about "Oh, you're doing well. The speeches really rally the people.
Looking like you're a snack."
Great. Yeah, and he's just like, "Oh, whatever.
Don't have time for this."
Yeah, he's finally achieved his destiny and hates it. He's having zero fun the entire show.
Yeah. We get introduced to another character, Resin.
Does
Char only exists to show what this hellscape of a war is like for a normal pilot.
I don't think Char laughs maniacally once in this. Does he?
He laughs maniacally a little bit at the end when the meteor breaks in half.
He chuckles.
Yeah.
Triumphantly. So yeah, these mobile suits are riding the base jabbers or whatever, and they jump the Federation, and they're just kind of mopping the floor with them since Amuro isn't there.
Yeah. Ryzen is essentially a lesser version of Gable.
Yazan.
Yeah, Yazan Gable. Mm-hmm. She's just not because he would probably find a way to survive in this hellish landscape, but spoilers, she does not.
He is surviving in this by not being there.
But she's doing great. She kills 5 mobile suits in this scene.
Yeah, which I think is still technically more than Yunin.
Yeah. Who?
Yune? What's his name?
Gune did not get that many. Well, mostly because Gune gets focused on the Gundam in the later battles.
Yeah, to his downfall. So yeah, she and everybody and all of her forces.
Yeah, they get a few blows in on the ship, punch a few holes in it, and
show it who's boss. Take it to task. And
then we get introduced to Karia.
Yeah, this is,
Astonashi's wife?
I guess?
Yeah, she's apparently a new type as well, but she's just not as good as Amuro. Or inexperienced.
Whoa, what's this? Tomino wrote a woman who's bad at piloting?
He would never
I've never
do that.
heard of such a thing.
He would not do that, Swanson.
Well,
Please.
she's not like a bad pilot. She just makes very bad decisions. That's the big difference.
And then we get a deep cut Gundam reappearance for Cameron Bloom, who is the guy who was Mirai's fiance.
Oh, you didn't skip ahead like 20 minutes.
Did I? I mean, it was just a battle that, like...
Yeah, but also Amuro shows up, and he's like literally the Red Comet now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and the minute Amuro shows up, they just immediately flee. Which I have to imagine Char was like very specific about that.
Well, yeah, he probably knows what happens when Amuro shows up. He's both been there. He's been on both sides of when Amuro shows up.
So we finally get to see the new Gundam in all of its glory.
He gave them a picture of Amuro, and they said, "If you see this man, run."
But he's in a mobile suit. We won't see him. And Char's just like, run.
And it's like Amuro from like the first series. It's like the stock picture of him standing there,
smiling, holding Haro.
Yeah.
It's Amuro from like 13 years ago.
Yeah, he's holding Haro, but he's scowling at Fra for bothering him at the computer.
Yeah, so
they all fly away
here. Yeah.
And we smash cut to Amuro's PTSD nightmare.
Oh yeah, that's right. He has a PTSD nightmare about with Lala coming up to him. It turns out both of them are still haunted by the errant death of someone that they loved.
And Lala apparently is in a ghost polycule with both him and Char.
Yeah, she's essentially just like, I'm haunting you guys forever.
And he's like, just haunt me, not Char.
Why won't you just haunt me, Lala? I'm ready to settle down in this haunting.
Yeah. And she has this
we
line.
Buy a haunted house.
She has this line, Char is pure. Do you think that's true?
No.
He's pure evil.
Yeah, listen, he could be pure a lot of things, alright? I'm assuming she means, like, Char's, like, heart is pure.
That's what the dub... That's how the dub translated it. They said she said he's pure of heart in the dub.
Yeah, which makes more sense because essentially he sort of is. It's just that his own mind clouds all of those actions.
Yeah, I don't know. She probably missed out on a few things, like him, like killing a friend and then laughing about it. That's not really true. That's not really very pure of heart, honestly.
Well, he did express.
Yeah, but that friend was a bad guy.
And he did say right before doing that it felt like leaving a bad taste in his mouth, misleading his enemies, his allies.
No, he was real smug and happy about it and didn't seem to be very guilty.
He essentially said, when Garma died, he essentially said, "See you in hell."
He's like, "Don't blame me. Blame your family."
He also did salute a lady and then blow her to bits with a rocket launcher.
Yeah, well, she was a space Nazi.
Yeah.
It's okay to feel good about that.
So yeah, he wakes up from that, and Chan is like, "Hey, listen, get down here quick." And he's like, Yeah, whatever.
In a few minutes, bitch.
Yeah, we get a shot of Amuro in boxers here. He's looking svelte.
Oh, yeah.
He's fit.
He's a cake.
Yeah, so Amuro gets down there. He's like, what is it? Is this when Hathaway and Quest and all?
Yeah, they're talking about they're talking about the Gundam and what new types are.
Yeah.
And this
they've made it to the to Bright's ship. He's picked them up.
Yeah. Yeah. He hugs it out with his dad.
His son is there and he's very happy to see his son.
Doesn't he say something like, "I haven't seen you in 3 years"?
Something like that. Well, later when Cameron Bloom shows up, he asks about Mirai.
Oh,
yes,
like,
I haven't seen her in 6 months.
Yeah, I have a note about that. He must be seething so hard when he hears that.
Yeah, that guy has beta energy for sure.
He's like, I would see her every day. Unlike you.
Yeah.
Me in space and her on Earth.
So Hathaway and Quest talk about what new types are in this very elaborate break room. Like, far more extravagant than you would expect a warship to have.
Hell of a break room.
You gotta keep the morale up, Stairmaster.
Yeah, but this is like... This looks like the fucking holodeck from Star Trek, this fake
It did
Vista
look
they
like...
got.
At first I did think that they had somehow just landed on a place without establishing that they had it all. Because it looks like a spaceport that they're in and not just like in the spaceship. But yeah, they have this conversation.
We get a funny bit about Hathaway saying what like the popular conception of episode 1 of Gundam is, where Amuro got in the suit and just felt all the circuits with his brain.
Yeah, and was just like immediately able to like destroy a Zaku instead of fumbling around and managing to by luck, and also like killing a whole bunch of people by blowing a hole in.
Also a line about how humans only used half their brain cells before going to space.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought.
It's not true.
No, very not true.
Look, if you examine the skull of your average space noid, you'll notice that there's a lot more room for development of the frontal cortex. Look at these divots on Char's brow here.
Char definitely, like, I don't think Char himself teaches that, but there are people in Neo Zeon who do.
Like, yeah, all those old men surrounding him, at least one of them.
Yeah, like, funds all of these education efforts in Neo Zeon.
Yeah.
To talk about how, like, space noid dominance.
Those boys down on Earth only use half their brain. Think about that. Let's kill them.
Yeah, but this conversation's very optimistic about the future, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's optimistic from Hathaway's point of view. Quest is more just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, my dad's a bitch.
I'm pretty sure Char. She's like, I'm pretty sure Char's right. Let's like team up with him. He's like, I disagree.
Killing a whole bunch of people seems like a bad idea, and she's like,
He's like, I respectfully disagree with that.
So we cut to the CGI space colony, which cost like $700,000 for Sunrise to animate for the 6-second shot.
Wasn't this like the first use of computer graphics in a Gundam thing?
Yeah. Well, also the Sunrise, yeah. Yes.
Yeah. It looks pretty good.
For 1988, yeah, this is terrific. Like, remember
it
those
looks
helicopters?
pretty good for like. You could put that in like a PS2 game, a PS1 game, and I'd be like, yeah, this looks good.
The PS1 standard.
For 1988, the PS1 standard is pretty good.
And at the same time, Char's in a space van going to this colony.
Yeah, he's going to this colony. He's prepared to have what's going to happen here, unbeknownst to Bright and Amuro and all of them, is that this meeting is going down. So what we learn here from Bright's point of view is that Adenar and Cameron Bloom are sort of they have some important business in the colony.
Yeah, and he deduces that's negotiations with Neo Zeon.
Yeah, and it is only not the way that Cameron Bloom was expecting, because they get in there, Char shows up, and everyone's just like, "Ooh, leader!" Ooh, hey.
Yeah, and he's got Nazi gold.
Literally, they give them a bunch of Nazi gold in exchange for the asteroid base known as Axis.
And they agree to dismantle their fleet.
Yeah, and they're just like, "Oh, okay."
They
this
got
guy will
dollar
never go back on a deal.
Well, you got to remember, Swanson, they've got dollar signs in their eyes. Their eyes have been replaced by dollar signs at this point.
Yeah, true. Greed is eventually what kills everybody. Mm-hmm. So the deal gets completed. Cameron is like, to show how much of a beta Cameron really is, he is in that room and he's just like, "Oh boy, oh jeez."
Well, his job is just to audit it, to make sure they're not doing tax fraud.
Yeah, true. Yeah, he wants to make sure the Nazi gold is not part of tax fraud schemes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, around the same time I get this subplot about Quest wanting to fuck Amuro.
Yeah, I don't... what is this about here?
He's a celebrity, and she's 15.
I guess, yeah.
And she wants a father figure.
That's healthy.
Yeah. And she yells at Chan about it.
Yeah. And Chan's mostly just amused.
Yeah, she's being very nice to a random little girl who's yelling at her.
What, you can get mad at a child, Swanson?
Yes.
Yeah, if they're in my like war zone area, yelling at me about my superior officer, who I obviously
is
have
also
a crush
my boyfriend.
On. Yeah, my superior officer, who's also my boyfriend, but we don't tell people that.
I'd be like, get out of here. Go on. Get.
Yeah. Get out of here. Hey, go on. Get. Scram.
And she would have been right to do that. Probably would have saved a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead, Amuro takes him out for a joyride, a scenic ride at the colony, and they pick up Haro, most important character of this film.
Yeah. Does Haro even talk in this film?
No, but he wiggles.
Yeah, we couldn't have one Haro line. Like, you didn't even have to get someone to say the line. You could just take the line of him saying, like, Amuro.
No, this isn't the same Haro. It's third generation.
But they're all programmed to say it.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, and the Haro could say, I am Haro.
What if the Haro pushed back the asteroid at the end?
Oh, that would be great.
What if the Haro betrayed Amuro and saved Char?
The Haro looks at Char and says, you belong to me.
That could have happened.
Yeah, listen, we don't know what happened at the end, really.
So the space conference ends. Char rides away on a horse. We get this very heterosexual line where Char says to himself, Amuro, I'm about to do something wicked. Come sense me.
The way he says it even sounds not very heterosexual. Amuro, I'm about to do something very wicked.
But then, yeah, we have him riding a horse. Meanwhile, Amuro is driving the Jeep along the lakeside of the space colony. He sees swans, animals noted for mating for life, and then he sees Char.
Well, also the swans turn into Lala.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, you know, they have a very normal relationship.
Healthy. I would say normal and healthy. And
very normal, very healthy. There's nothing repressed going on here between these two.
So we get this very awkward chase scene where Amuro spots Char and drives after him on the Jeep.
You say awkward, I say awesome. When was the last time you saw a car-horse chase scene?
Well, I'm saying because it's, like, very grounded. Like, Amuro has to stop at one point and back up to do a K-turn onto a bridge.
But also, I appreciate that Amuro's intensity is so red-hot that he jumps out of the car without checking to make sure that the two children who are with him are okay, and just tackles Char off of a horse.
Yeah, that should have, like, just broken one of their bones. Instead, they kind of roll around in the grass, and Amuro kind of mounts Char.
They talk about theories about Earthlings and space noise.
They rub their pelvises together.
Look, they talk about it for a bit, and they get on the ground, roll around a bit, but then Amuro's had enough, and he pulls out a gun.
Oh, he judo throws Char, and then pulls out a gun.
Yeah. And he probably would have just killed him right there, right?
Like, he's ready to put an end to him right there. He's actually going to do it. And
Haro could not stop this, I don't think.
Probably not.
Unless he, like, tripped Amuro somehow.
Yeah, what would have happened was that Gyune would have been way too late to come in. And he would have just been like, oh, dang, they killed Char.
So Char's like, Amuro, you're wasting your talent. Mankind needs to be dragged into the future. Amuro's like, you gotta believe in mankind's better nature. And then pulls out a gun on Char.
and Char doesn't even really have time to process that he's about to get shot and probably die.
The one man he ever loved.
Yeah.
Okay, what if Haro said, Amuro, no, killing is wrong.
You are just perpetuating a cycle.
Instead, Quest comes in here and
steals the gun.
Steals the gun.
And points it at Amuro, and Char's like, no!
And Amuro
like, imagine
is
if she had shot him. Like, Char would have just snapped her neck right then and there.
Yeah.
Instead, Gune comes in the hobby Isaac.
And Char, never one to leave a vulnerable person where they are. It's just like, hey, well, you want to come with us? Cool.
Yeah, he takes her by the hand like she's a princess.
Yeah, so they leave. Hathaway is just like, what the fuck? Hathaway is just like, okay, this didn't go anywhere where I was planning it to go. Like, he thought, Hathaway had to imagine that he was going on, like, a cool date with a girl, and also his celebrity friend, Amuro.
Who saved him from drowning one time.
Yeah, and instead, he gets
his
crush goes with the Nazi leader.
The guy is like, Daddy's on Discord, kiddin'.
Yeah.
I really want to see the car right after. Like, what would that even be like between him and Hathaway? And Haru trying to cheer them up.
A lot of silence.
Haru was like, Hathaway's brainwaves are dropping.
But imagine Amuro gets shot here and it becomes like a Transformers the movie situation.
Oh God. In another universe, that's what happened.
And Hathaway has to sort of step up to stop Char.
Luckily, instead, Hathaway's thing here is sort of like a deconstruction of the 50. Sort of like Evangelion.
Interesting. Much to think about here.
Anyways, yeah, so we cut to this junkyard, I think.
Yeah, this was where Halfway's buying this robot that he's going to sneak onto the ship with.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're not going to keep this kid just hanging out on a warship. What is this, regular Gundam? Or Zeta Gundam?
Or Double Zeta Gundam?
Where they just keep literal children on a warship and everyone's just okay with it?
One of the street signs in the back says guys possessive and nothing else.
Yeah. That's where the guys are. I don't know what's confusing about that, Stairmaster. If you're looking for where guys are, then it's helpful to have a sign.
Anyways, Adenor says goodbye to Bright, and Bright's like, hey, so are we still fighting, Char? And Adenor's like, yeah, do whatever.
Yeah. And
nobody knows about what happened to Quest at this point before he leaves. Setting up some massive dramatic irony.
Yes, this will be great. This ends great for him. Is this when Cameron Bloom shows back up and is like, "Listen, we need to talk, Bright. Some stuff's happened. Also, how's your wife doing? She good?" Yeah, he pretty much reveals like, "Listen, they made a treaty with Neo Zeon."
Oh yeah, that happens first, and then he yells at Adenor for it.
Yeah, and Adenor's just like, "Yo, listen,
what are we gonna do? We need to pay for our welfare programs."
Yeah, it shows how Bright is also one of the smartest people in our Federation because he's able to know that Char was bluffing.
He's not even smart. He just knows that Char has ideals.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I guess when you don't have any at all, like Adenor, it's hard to tell when someone else does.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, Adenor's just like, well, do what you want, but we can't really help you.
We pretty much solved this problem, so
there's no way they'll go back on this treaty. I mean, come on.
So he flies off to Luna 2, where they're going to see the disarmament of the Neo Zeon fleet, and then we cut to the space van. They're pulling up to this Neo Zeon ship. Quest and Gune are in the Hobby Isaac, flying around together.
And Char is just like observing, being like, "Incredible! She's so much better than Gune."
Yes.
He's just like, "Wow! I can't believe I found someone to replace my fail son. He sucks. She's great."
And he literally has a line just like her at the end of the scene.
Yeah. Listen, there's a lot of pent up trauma going on between both of our leads in this movie.
And this directly segues to the train scene, where they're back at Colony Sweetwater.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Char's just riding public transportation.
Yeah, he's a public hero in the space sphere. they're singing songs about him, and he's just sitting there, like, listening and thanking them.
His head is gently bobbing up and down in appreciation.
I feel like this is the only time where he seems to be enjoying himself at all in this movie.
Well, he's on a train.
Yeah,
for people on the spectrum like Char, that's like heaven.
Being on the train?
Yeah.
I thought they like to watch the train, not ride the train. The train's like all shaky and...
Especially when you're standing like he is. I don't think he's even holding on to anything.
No, if you're riding the train, you're part of the train.
That's good.
It's like getting closer to God.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Look for Stairmaster's book on the theory behind trains.
So, Sarah, you're basically saying that, like, when you're on a train, you've personally experienced euphoria?
Maybe.
Sarah, you bust a nut when you're on a train?
Well, let's just say I'm banned from Day Out with Thomas at my local railway museum.
Oh, boy.
Is it to the point where they have a picture you posted?
Yes.
Yeah, but it's a picture of him from like 13 years ago when he fought in the war.
Thomas recognizes me. It's that bad.
Oh no. Thomas knows what you did.
Like his eyes spin around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thomas was very upset.
I thought you said he wouldn't be here.
Thomas knew the Phantom Jerker when he saw him.
So, wait.
I won't be going on this route with this guy around.
Phantom Jerker, does that mean that, like, I jerk someone off? Or I, like, wore a mask while jerking off?
No, you wore a mask. You were hidden. You wore a Char Admirable mask while you were...
Oh god! Imagine like you're walking down the city streets and someone in a Char Admirable mask flashes you.
Oh, I'd like that a lot.
Yeah, only if they have blonde hair though. Otherwise, I'd be like it's bad cosplay.
And then in that case, I would run.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Also, I do like that. So this is the outfit, not the outfit so much as is like what he wears out in public is sort of a combination. Mm-hmm. Of both his Char getup and his Quattro getup,
yeah,
as he's combined himself into this new person.
And he's not wearing glasses anymore; he's showing his face, which is ironic.
Well, he does wear sunglasses.
Well, yeah, on the horse scene, which is ironic because this is a movie. I don't think Char tells a single truth except for one line. I think he's lying in every piece of dialogue he has, but we'll get into that by the end.
Yeah, so
Quest is like, wow, you're for real, huh?
Yeah, Quest is just enamored by him, and
Yeah.
They pull up to this huge mansion that he probably lives at, I guess.
Yeah.
And he's like, "All right, Gyune, don't fuck it up tomorrow, yeah?"
Yeah.
And then he's like, "And Quest, you're a darling, you're beautiful. I can't wait to see you in action tomorrow." Yeah, kisses her in the hand.
We spent $10 million on you. You better not screw this up.
He's like, and as for you, Quest, you're great. You're awesome. I love you so much. And he gives her a kiss on the hand and leaves.
And we get this bedroom scene with him.
It's essentially a bedroom scene with we thought that Char was capable of being able to have sex. Because it feels like an impotence scene at the end.
I feel well.
Yeah, it's like you'll do it next time, right, Char?
Yeah. And Char's like, oh, maybe. Like, I feel like this happens, like, every night with them.
Well, look, I hate to say it, but Tomino actually has some thoughts on this.
When he think Char gets it?
Yeah, when he was designing Nanai, he specifically drew her with the idea that she had a pussy that could make Char feel good.
Oh, God.
So, she didn't want one that was all sad and tired out. That would make his words.
Jesus Christ.
So what you're saying is that Char is very picky?
I'm just saying.
He's just looking for that one.
That energy was not expressed in this program at all.
Well, that's his words, not mine.
Well, whatever the case is, that was not conveyed in this film.
He also did say that his intent for the film was for the audience to think, could Char and Amuro be gay?
Well, I mean, that part was successfully put into the film. But this scene here seems to be one of like, well, you didn't do it this time, Char, but maybe next time you'll get him.
Maybe they had sex, but he did a bad job. That's the best you could take from
I don't know. The way he kind of like puts his glass with the ice on it against her breast, I feel like that's something you can only do if you're having good sex in your relationship.
You could definitely there's definitely an implication, perhaps, of it because they're both in robes. But also, he's like he's fully clothed under the robe. So,
well, presumably they had sex after this, if they were having sex. So yeah, Nanai's just like, you're doing this to get back at Amuro, aren't you? And Char doesn't really even deny it.
No,
it's very half-assed. And yeah, he cuts into this flashback to original Gundam. We get to see the Grandpa Gundam in all of its glory.
Yeah. Basically, it's like, this is what happened to me. And it was not great. And yeah, so the whole thing...
They go with the movie, the compilation movie version of things, where he just sheds a single tear instead of crying out when Lala dies.
I feel like I prefer the crying out part.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he it basically sums up the gist of the movie here, which is that he will never let go of this trauma that happened, and also Amuro will pay for it.
He's basically built up Lala as like this failed messiah figure. When really she was just a confused teenager.
Yeah.
Also, it was Amuro's fault. He did it.
No, he also blames his sister.
Yeah, I know. He was like, if only my sister wasn't there.
What have you got in Amuro?
It's everyone's fault but mine.
They only mention and/or appearance of Sayla in this.
It's the core fighter. You don't even see her in it.
Yeah. Yeah, she's only mentioned. You never see her. You definitely don't hear from her. She's completely forgotten about all of this, and these two guys can't let it go.
Yeah, Nanai is just like, wow, you must really hate him. But also, they say love and hate are the two sides of the same coin.
And he's like, I don't want to think about that.
He's like, well, I don't know about all that. I haven't. I'm sort of I'm not equipped to handle that right now.
And yeah, and then at the end of the scene, he asked, how could he have fallen for such a brat?
Yeah, which you're supposed to think is Quest.
Yeah, because they have an argument about what they're going to do with her.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, she's talking about Amuro. Who is a brat in the sense he's way younger. Or at least was way younger than Char. And my memory's hazy here, but I got a note that says Gyune thinks he's the fucking protagonist of his own show.
Yeah, he's sitting in there's like a party going on, and they're outside.
Yeah, and Quest is just bored out of her mind.
Yeah, and she's just listening to Gyune being like, I'm going to kill Char and take over this entire establishment.
Yeah,
and she's just like, yeah.
Yeah, it seems like getting cyber new type surgery is like doing cocaine. I feel like Yune's seconds away from talking about his plans to open a restaurant.
Gyune is essentially he's essentially Leonardo DiCaprio in Wolf on Wall Street right now. And she's just sort of listening to him rant about the game of war.
Come on, Quest, let's do some crack. Do some crack with me.
Char's gonna be so jealous. Yeah, so she gets bored and she's like, alright, see ya. And he's like, where you going? I thought we were having a great time.
At one point, she's just like, so you're asking me out?
Yeah.
With barely concealed disgust while she's like sipping from this drink.
It's like, well, what is that? Was that bad? You don't like me?
I should also point out to the audience, Gyune is 19, Quest is 15.
Yeah. Which is not as bad as her thinking that Char, who is like mid-30s
almost
at best,
30s, yeah,
is a viable love interest for her. To be fair, Char makes it very clear that he does not care about her in that way, but she does in the other way.
He's willing to manipulate her along those lines, like, pretty effortlessly.
Yeah. And, you know, unexpectedly causes a situation very similar to what happens to Lala. But we'll get to that in a little bit.
Like, he remarks that they're similar, but he doesn't, like, think about it any further.
Well, he doesn't want to think about it any further.
Yeah.
He-
Thinking about it any further would interrupt his own goals.
And that would require him to, yeah.
And yeah, like this movie's essentially two guys who just cannot
Get over it.
Cannot talk to them to each other or themselves about their trauma.
Yeah, and Amuro's a hero because he's slightly less repressed.
Yes.
He has at least a girlfriend he can talk to sometimes. But even she seems not to understand he has PTSD.
Well, Amuro's also the hero because at the end he essentially sheds that. He's also never hated Char for it.
But he
seems
seems
Char for all of his other actions.
Yeah. So yeah, we get the Nazi speech from Char here.
Yeah.
To set us up for like a hour of space war.
Yeah, it's real good.
And there is something interesting I wanted to ask you guys. It says in the speech at one point, when we've succeeded, I will be able to join my father. Is Char like just saying that it's a suicide mission? And that he's gonna die?
It's a metaphorical thing where he's saying he's joining his father in legacy. But also, yes, I don't think he ever plans on surviving this mission. Like, I'm pretty sure his grand plan was that him and Amuro were going to die at some point.
Also, funny bit
battle.
where he recites the plot of Gundam and Zeta Gundam and ZZ Gundam, and Quest is just like, I knew all that.
She's like, yeah, thanks, Captain Obvious. Everyone,
not even annoyed. She's very proud of herself because she's 15 and she thinks she's the smartest one in the room.
So the fighting starts here, and Quest and Ganai are together.
Cameron's
here.
like, "Hey, we got some nuclear weapons if you want to blow up Axis."
Yeah, and so they do this thing here. Ganai does the one cool thing he does in the entire movie, which is he uses his what are they called again?
The funnels. Well, you're jumping ahead because we first get them fucking up Luna 2.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is because we get this scene where Adonal is like,
"Come to the front! Come to the front!
Like,
but
the treaty, the treaty!
Oh yeah.
I can't believe the bad guys would screw us over."
Yeah, they just show up and blast him to shit.
Yeah. He's not dead yet, though. That comes later.
So yeah, Char sends Quest into battle.
Yeah. And she does okay for a little bit. And then things get wild.
Then she gets, kind of has a psychotic break.
Does this happen before the explosives go off?
What explosives?
Before he blows up the nukes, does she...
Yeah, before the nukes. This is before the nukes.
Yeah, so she says there's still more people, and she heads out.
Yeah, she flies over the top of Luna 2 and sees the ship with her dad on it, Adenauer.
Yeah, and does she realize before she kills him that it's her dad?
Maybe. I think like on one level she does, and on another she doesn't, and that's part of why she's so fucked up afterwards. Yeah,
so she kills her own dad, and it's kind of badass, honestly.
Yeah, it's not even... Yeah. Because she's not using a laser gun, she just got like a regular machine gun. Just to make it more impactful.
And Adner has no idea that he just got murdered by his own daughter.
And that is his own fault that this happened.
Yeah. And that's the end of him. And
so Neo Zeon has nukes of their own now.
A true guy.
They plan to irradiate Axis with.
A true guy died this day. True guy right here.
Yeah, he was a hero to I guess the Earth Federation. They really loved him. Yeah, so what a great arc for this guy. He makes a deal with the bad guy kills him. Or the bad guy turns on him, and then he unexpectedly gets killed by his daughter, who the bad guy has coerced into working for him.
Seduced.
Yeah, unknown to him, because he doesn't pay attention to her. Yeah. So yeah, that's a downfall if there ever was one.
Meanwhile, Char is off with his own one ship, and he takes Axis.
Yeah, essentially this is a diversion so that he can take access.
Yeah, and,
before anyone realizes the double cross.
Yeah, and the Federation's preparing to launch their attack. They send out the mobile suits. They're gonna, at the same time, they fire missiles in hopes of taking out Axis's thrusters before it can deorbit.
Yeah, and that the missiles is when Ganai does the deal, right?
Yeah. Well, no, it's several minutes later. We get like several waves of missiles being intercepted. This is a big ass battle. This is like half the movie. It's this battle over Axis.
To be fair, the vast majority of this movie from here until the end is this battle. But
so what happens is they shoot the first wave. Char shoots that down. The Federation mobile suits go in.
Yeah,
they get intercepted by the fleet from Luna 2, and that's where we get Gune attacking Kyra.
Oh yes, I forgot about this part.
Okay, I'll be totally honest with you guys about this portion of the film where they're fighting. It lost me for a little bit there.
Oh, it's very complicated.
Yeah, there's a lot of maneuvering going on here. It was a little... luckily, we got this sad Astronage plot here, where his wife, or I guess just lover, goes off, and he says that he's going to make her favorite salad when she comes back.
Yeah, she's flying the GZ-Easy.
Yeah.
And she's really focused on taking out the thrusters.
You say GG Easy?
No, the GZ-Easy.
Okay, I thought you said...
GG Easy. That's what Gune said when he crushed her to death.
Yeah, so he takes control of this, what he calls this fake Gundam.
Yeah. We also get the fake asteroid scene. Poor guy.
Oh, yeah. That
poor Amuro kicks that guy's ass and Gune, which causes Gune to run off and run into Kyra.
Yeah. Where he takes her... He pretty much could have killed her right there, but decided to keep her hostage to get Amuro in there. Basically, Amuro does surrender,
but they electrocute him.
Yeah, which causes his mind to think about protecting himself, and then the funnels go off.
Yeah.
But Gune's plan here is already flawed because there's no way that he would probably get into that Gundam and be able to control it in any meaningful way.
Oh, he would still... He says he's going to take down Char with it. Like...
Yeah, he would
not last 30 seconds.
Bet you can't last 30 seconds with Char. Yeah, so he...
Oh, me and Char, that'd be an all-night thing. I'd be putting a reminder on my Google Calendar in preparation.
Yeah,
like ready. I'm
getting all properly hydrated and everything.
Yeah.
How would you feel if afterwards, Char, you were like, well, how was that, Char? And he was just like, you're too pulled down by Earth's gravity.
I couldn't say he was wrong.
What if he gave it a 4 out of 10? And then he stopped returning your phone calls?
Oh, so anyways, yeah, Kyra gets crushed.
I think Sarah couldn't cope with that thought and had to move on.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, it's sort of like when anytime Char thinks about Lala for longer than like a minute.
Yes.
So yeah,
Kyra gets crushed. We get one last horrified Amuro scream.
Yes, just for
old
time's sake. And Amuro, Gune gets away, I guess, because Amuro is just like stunned.
Yeah.
They bring the body back, and Astronage is like, "Oh boy, this is not good for me."
It's okay.
We don't even see him again after this.
No, we do see him again.
We do?
Yeah. I'll say when we get there.
Oh, I don't like this.
So yeah, Amuro has a speech about how it was kind of partly his fault, but it was Char's fault for starting this war.
Yeah, and he's talking with Chan, and he's like, I'm ready to end this shit.
Even if it costs my life. Yeah. And Chan's just like, you've been talking about dying a lot. I'm a little bit concerned.
Well, he's like,
don't worry about it. I'm going out to fight.
Now you know how I feel. I'm out of here.
Meanwhile, at the same time, Quetz is back on the one of the Neo-Zeon ships and gets yelled at by Nanai because she's not wearing her normal suit. It's just in casual clothing in the middle of this war zone.
Nanai just like slaps her.
And so she just takes their broken mobile suit from the last battle and flies off to go find Char.
And the commander here is just like, should we let it happen? She's like, yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, she gets to Char, and in order to talk to him, she opens up her cockpit in the vacuum of space and holds her breath and just like back cartwheels over to him.
Yeah, and while they're doing this, Yune's in pursuit, and that's when he notices, this is when he does the nuke thing, I think.
Yes. And then, so yeah, we get my favorite exchange in the movie where Quest is like, and I slapped me real hard. And Char's like, well, I do abhor violence.
In the middle of a war.
Yeah. That he started.
And she does not question this. She's just like, yeah, that's true. You don't like violence, Char.
Yeah, we've messed up the order, but that's what happened so far.
But yeah,
after Kyra gets killed, there's like a lapse in the fighting because the Federation failed to take out the thrusters before Axis deorbited, so they're making a new plan of attack.
Yeah.
And Neo Zeon's regrouping.
The nukes fail because Yune destroys them all, and Char's like briefly impressed before being like, anyway, on to our plan.
Yeah, so anyways, we get a scene inside Axis where Yune is yelling at Quest to stop caring about Char.
Yeah. And he talks about this bit here, so this is where he goes through like
He flat out calls Char a pedophile. He says he has a Lolita complex.
Says a lot of guys talk about how Char is into younger women.
No, if you listen to the Japanese version, he literally says lolicon, which is slang for someone with the Lolita complex.
Yeah. Well, the subtitles are literally just him saying that Char has a thing for younger women, and that's why he keeps
Nanai around.
Yeah,
she's like shut up.
A beard type thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever you call it.
And Quest is like, this is why I hate older men. Despite fighting for a 30-year-old man. Meanwhile, Bright gives this very inspirational speech. That's Independence Day speech.
Yeah, this is the Bright Independence Day take. And, it rallies the troops. Gets them ready to go take on a big old asteroid.
Oh yeah, Hathaway snuck on the ship with that thing he bought earlier. With the little
and they
mech.
catch on.
Yeah, and he got copies because of Haro.
And we get our favorite thing in Gundam all throughout the series, which is Bright slapping somebody.
Yeah,
Bright just slaps the shit out of his
son. And there's this weird bit where he's like, "Your mother will be worried sick," and Amuro's like, sometimes that's the best thing for a teenage son."
Yeah, Amuro's learned some bad lessons, I think.
Yeah, bold words from a guy who basically hasn't seen his mother in over 2 decades.
Yeah. So yeah, he gets put in the brig.
Oh, he gets like put in just a room, storage room, and he's told to stay in the library because that's in the center of the ship.
Oh, all right.
They also give him a will to write because they are going in the battle.
Well, they give him a will to write because he's going to go watch the battle later on.
Well, no, because he's in the ship that's going in the battle.
And, it's interesting. They have him write out this will and stuff, and then
the guy
you got a letter for your dad. That's cool. Well, if this battle doesn't go well, you'll both be dead. But hey, that's cool. That's good thinking, bud.
Meanwhile, Neo Zeon's preparing to send their mobile suits out, and Char has one last conversation with Q&A, where he's just like, "Dude, what the fuck have you been saying?"
Yeah, he's pretty much just like, listen, I don't know what you're thinking about here, but like, I'm sort of just like pulling one over on this girl. Like, so you could just not fuck it up for me.
Like, just chill. Like, when it's over, you can have her. I don't care.
All I care about is Neo Zeon, man, and kicking on his ass.
Yeah, he says, all I care about is Neo Zeon and defeating Amuro.
And I'm not sure whether he's telling the truth or not. I mean, the second part is true.
I think he's telling the truth about the last part.
Yes. And then he says, and Nanai has been very nice to me.
Yeah. He's like, and one more thing. Nanai is very nice.
Which I guess is true.
Yes.
I guess maybe he's like expressing some actual regret.
Well, yeah, it's the same thing as like when Rakoa had already left and he was just like, well, she was a nice lady.
So yeah, the final phase of the battle begins. They send Quest out in the mobile armor, the Alpha Zero, which originally was going to be titled the Xeon 2.
Yeah, so she goes out in this, and it's a grand old time for her.
Amuro flies in the new Gundam, and he sends his Quest, and that other guy, his words.
Yes.
He doesn't even know Gune's name.
Yeah, so he gets into this battle here.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask, they keep doing this, and I feel like they never learn their lesson. Which is that you can't just keep making these big, giant mobile suits and that are piloted by like new types and expect them to not go insane.
Yeah, Quest kind of goes into a berserker rampage and wanders off at one point just to kill random red shirts.
Yeah.
And Gune has to yell at her to come back.
And, Amuro has this battle here, and he just sort of nonchalantly kills Gune.
Well, yeah, Amuro's basically like... He's basically Michael Jordan playing against the Olympic athletes at this point. This is the NBA Dream Team.
And Gune does get dunked on, so that's true. This is a good analogy.
Gune dies without any fanfare.
He says nothing in terms of his final lines.
No, he just gets distracted because Amuro drops his shield after being hit by an explosion.
I'm pretty sure his final line is, huh?
Yeah, and Amuro flies behind him and shoots him in the back.
Yeah. And it's more for Quest's reaction than for anybody else's.
Yeah, Quest is like, did you get Gune?
And he's like, bye.
Oh yeah, we get the bit with the funnels creating a force field, which is very cool.
Yeah, very cool.
It's shaped like a pyramid.
Gune briefly questions why his funnels last longer than his seem to, and I guess it's just because Amuro's better.
I think it's just because it's because he's flying a Gundam while Gune's is basically in a customized mass production suit.
Yeah. So Chan goes out when she starts sensing that the forces are not doing well.
Yeah, and the broken, not Zeta Gundam.
Yes. And
Astanage's like, what are you doing? This is a terrible idea.
Oh, wait, Astanage is the guy, he gets blown up.
Yes, yes. And Hathaway watches his body float by before.
And then it's like, oh, this is my chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor Astanage.
Oh yeah, should mention, the Federation finally got cool looking frontline suits in this film.
The Londo Bells?
Yeah, the Jagans with the motorcycle helmets.
Yeah, so what's this Londo Bell deal, huh?
They're like they're like the counter-terrorist unit.
Oh, so they're essentially like the new version of the Titans.
Yes, but Bright's in charge.
So they're not
That's
evil.
The only reason it was acceptable.
Yeah.
He was like, hey, don't do any like terror stuff, okay?
Yeah. Spoilers, though.
I would never think of it.
Yeah, but they're like space only. On Earth, they have the Manhunters, which you get to see in Hathaway's Flash, and they're kind of a different story entirely.
Yeah, I think when you name your group the Manhunters, you're sort of giving some images that people aren't going to be happy with. You're laying down some ideas.
You're given a license to commit some war crimes by giving them that name.
So Amuro just flies off, and Quest can't follow because she took some battle damage.
Yeah.
Hathaway gets in a Jagan and kills one of the Neo-Zeon suits with the head cannons.
Which means he's already better than Katz was in Zeta.
Yeah.
Also, he survives, so he's already better than Katz was in Zeta.
He's closer to Amuro in terms of performance, when you think about it. Killing an enemy on your first sortie with no training whatsoever.
And technically, he kills two people.
Yeah.
More on that in
he catches up to... Well, let's get to that anyways, because I feel like we want to talk about Char and Amuro's final duel in one big chunk.
Yeah, sure. We might as well get rid of this.
There's a lot of fucking parallel editing going on in this film.
Especially because there's like a sort of runner, because it doesn't really have anything to do with the plot, because it's not enough of its own story, of Mirai and and their daughter sort of just
evacuating,
trying to not die, including one like
that
sobering scene where they see an asteroid, where they see the sun and the asteroid like outlined by the sun. I would shit my pants if I saw that personally.
Yeah, Tomino, of course, predicted 2020 because there's one guy in the back who's like, I don't think it'll cause a nuclear winter.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's also that funny scene when they're in traffic in Hong Kong, and there's a fucking triad shootout behind them that ends with like the city block exploding.
I literally just like I saw that scene and I was like, oh my god, did the guy who made Children of Men watch Char's Counterattack?
Yeah. It's sort of animated like a Simpsons gag as well, the way they just sort of like react to it for 1 second and then look away.
Yeah. It's just like a normal event in Hong Kong.
So yeah, Chan catches up with Gyune, or runs into Quest at the same time that Hathaway does. And we get this Mexican standoff.
Yeah.
This very fucked up Mexican standoff.
And yeah,
Hathaway's trying to talk her out of tell her to get out of the suit and look at his face.
Yeah. And she's like, I can't do that. You're just a child and I hate children.
Despite being the same age.
Yes.
And Chance is like, Hathaway, get the fuck away. I'm going to blow her up.
Yeah, he's like, I have like the cleanest shot possible and you're fucking it up for me. So then she fires anyway, and in a sort of parallel situation, Quest realizes that it's going to hit Hathaway and gets in the way.
Yeah. And dies.
And
presumably becomes part of a dead girlfriend spirit bomb.
Yeah, it would appear so. So Hathaway has a reaction that is not like Amuro's when Lala died.
Wow.
And just straight up kills Chan.
And it's a very prolonged execution because, like, she's in a knockoff Gundam. So it takes multiple shots to actually kill her. We have, like, a shot of her in the cockpit pleading as the screens go out.
Yeah, he has time to think about this, and he's like, she's dead.
And she literally says, and Hathaway's just, like, char-pilled at this point.
Yeah, he kills her, and he's just like, damn. Oh, well. Hathaway is brutal.
This is why this is why adults are going to destroy the Earth.
Yeah. Listen, I'm sure this didn't lead to anything bad.
I'm sure he won't get into anything crazy after this.
Yeah, like, come on. I'm sure it's fine.
So, do you want to hear what happens to Quest in the novel?
Sure.
So, Chan doesn't exist. Instead, it's Belterchica. She kills Gyune with the psychoframe sample somehow.
Oh my gosh.
Meanwhile, Quest
Imagine
is about
getting killed by Belterchica.
Meanwhile, Quest manages to make it to Amuro in Char's duel, and is going to shoot Amuro in the back. Hathaway sees this and has to take the shot himself to save Amuro.
That would probably be better. I mean, it wouldn't be better in terms of how you make Hathaway line up with Hathaway's Flash, but that wasn't written yet, so...
Oh yeah, I think that's what the novel of Hathaway's Flash goes with. It's ambiguous what the film is going off of, but people think it's a novel.
Yeah, because he doesn't talk about Chan at all in that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, why would he? He's more focused on the lady he liked.
Yeah, so anyways, back to Amuro. He's on the surface of Axis. He's making his way to the thrusters. Char finally finds him.
He's like, hey man.
He's like, Amuro,
with this shit?
Like, I gotta kill all these people. Like, get out of here.
Amuro, you're cramping my style, man. I need to kill these people.
So yeah, this is fucking insane.
I won't let you.
They just basically throw the kitchen cabinet at each other.
Yeah, they go all out. They're not wasting any time. Like, before, when they would fight in, like, original Gundam, it would be like a dance, where they would just be, like, trying to see each other's moves. Mm-hmm. They don't care anymore at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Char is essentially suicidal, and Amuro is so driven by trying to kill Char that he's essentially the same way. So they're just gonna kill each other. It's fine.
Amuro is kind of caught off guard because there's like multiple scenes. There's multiple lines he has where he's like, "He dodged that."
Yeah. And Amuro is just like completely done with Char's shit by the end of this battle.
Yeah, Amuro is thinking like each of his moves is gonna kill Char, but they don't. He's like, "What?"
But also, Char, once he starts losing, is just like, how was Amuro able to do that?
It's almost like he wants me dead.
They're fighting very evenly for a long time, though. It isn't until the end that things wildly spiral in Amuro's favor.
And part of that is because Bright and his crew are able to plant explosives into the Axis.
Yeah, Amuro isn't really concerned with winning the duel. He's just holding Char off and making sure he doesn't interfere with that. Char does get the opportunity to attack the rock Kylum at one point. He just kills a bunch of red suits instead and finds Amuro's parked Gundam.
And then we get sort of a callback to their final battle in the original Gundam.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're battling around.
Yeah, they both get out of their suits.
Is Amuro trying to blow him up at one point?
Yes, he sets up a rocket launcher and like a tripwire that he can pull. Yeah. But Char keeps dodging it. And
Char knows how rocket launchers work. He's not going to fall for this one.
This is important because Amuro records a speech on the radio about how revolutions eventually lose their ideals and get corrupted.
And just become
Char has this line. Char basically interrupts him to yell, "I'm not planning to change the world."
Yeah, which
is like No, I think that's the one time in the film you can say he's definitely telling the truth.
He's not planning. I mean, he's changing the world, though.
I mean, yeah, but not politically. He just wants to kill Amuro.
Yeah.
He just wants to kill, people.
Yeah, he sort of just wants to get his licks in.
He's basically blackpilled at this point, and he's lashing out.
Yeah. So what you're saying is Char's counterattack isn't really against the Earth; it's against Amuro.
Yeah.
It's deep.
Who he's angry at for reasons.
Well, yeah, we firmly established why he's angry at him.
Yeah, for reasons.
Yeah. It does really sting more in the scene where Zeta Gundam, where he's just sort of it's water under the bridge.
Yeah. It was never about Lala. He just uses that as his justification.
Yeah.
He's just mad that his life didn't work out the way he wanted it to.
I just like the energy from Zeta Gundam where Char's like, I thought about it, and I'm a nice guy now, and you didn't do anything wrong, Amuro, we're friends. And then 5 minutes later, he's like, Amuro, how could you let this happen?
Fun fact, the original story outline for Zeta Gundam was titled Char's Counterattack, and featured Char dying at the end of Optimus, and Camille having to carry on the fight himself.
I don't know how I would have felt if Optimus was able to kill Char.
Yeah.
If anyone should have done it, if anyone was going to be capable, it should be Amuro. Or I guess a bunch of souls. So yeah, this fight is awesome. At one point, they're down to the beam sabers, and Char just pulls out 2 beam sabers. Yeah, he goes hard. And you can see the animators are taking care to draw the beam sabers as retracted when they're not in use. Yeah. To show their talent as pilots. But Amuro turns the tables here and really takes it to Char. He cuts Char's arm off, and in response, Char just punches him. Yes. And disarms him and starts kicking him. And then he starts punching Char. Yeah, because he has 2 arms, and Char only has 1. And he's really taking it to him here. And I think at a certain point, Char realizes, he's going to kill me. So he gets in his escape pod, and Amuro just grabs it. Well, yeah, he gets beaten so bad that the camera goes out, and Nanai is telepathically telling him to get out of there. And he's don't interfere the battles of men. I love this bit here where Amuro just sort of takes his ball and is just holding it, and just no. Yeah. Bright and the ship crew have blown Axis in half, but the back half is slowed down and is now falling into Earth's atmosphere. Yeah. This is where we get Char's only evil laugh in the entirety of this movie. Yeah. Because his plan ends up working anyway. Because now there's going to be 2 halves of an asteroid heading towards Earth. One half is moving faster. Yeah. And Amuro's like, nah, that's not going to happen. I'm going to push it back with my Gundam. And Char's like, what? What? That's
He's like, I did the math on that, and I don't think so, Amuro. He's like, no, I'm doing it. See? Doing it.
And Char's like, you're literally, are you insane right now? And Amuro, throws him into the asteroid, and it's just shut up, I'm doing it. His hand. Yeah. He's doing Sonic Adventure 2 to this asteroid. Yeah. But he doesn't have chaos control. Meanwhile, Bright's like, we need to push the asteroid with our ship.
And they're like, that's physically impossible, sir. What's logistically?
And then all of these Earth Federation guys start showing up.
Yeah, when Chen gets blown up, she becomes a dead girlfriend spirit bomb, and that kind of like draws all the Federation guys who were sitting on their asses in.
Yeah.
So they come to help push the asteroid up.
Well, also the Psycho Frame thing comes into play here. And amplifies his powers.
Yeah.
And these people start pushing the asteroid, and then all the Zaku's come in and start pushing the asteroid.
Actually, they're Gyaradogas, Swanson.
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, they're pushing it along here. Char starts waxing philosophical about like,
he's like, oh, this is gay.
He's like, wow, this
he's like,
my plan was supposed to be good.
Humans can be mean, but they can also be nice.
Yeah, pretty much. And Amuro's like, yeah, that's what I've been trying to say, you dipshit.
That's why we gotta let him. That's why we gotta give him a chance. So all the guys start dying because they're being burnt to death by the asteroid re-entering the atmosphere.
Yeah, and Amuro's like, very just leave it to me, guys. I got this.
And I think he uses new type powers to like order them away. I think that's the implication.
I think that's why they're going away, yeah.
Well, the ones that didn't explode.
And then the energy that's like radiating, the soul energy and his energy sort of combine. Yeah,
so it's them now. It's him and Char now, and Char's just trying to dig at him. Yeah, like
I don't even know what Char's mindset is at this point.
He just wants to get one last win. He's mad that he lost, so he's trying to hurt Amuro verbally.
He's like, Amuro, you can't do it. This is not gonna...
Amuro, you were kind of a dick, you know? You're talking all this stuff about love, but you were cold to Quest.
Yeah.
And
Amuro's like, well, didn't you just, like, manipulate her?
He's like, I didn't really do anything, really.
He's like, well, I don't know, really, when you think about it. It was all your fault.
And then, Char's like, oh, she wanted a father figure. Gross.
Yes.
And Amuro's like, I thought you were more forward-minded.
And he's like, nah.
Fuck you, you killed Lala. She could have been like a mother to me.
And that's his last line.
Amuro's like, a mother figure? And then it's like a flash of new type energy, and they both fly off to the end of the universe.
Yeah. Well, do we even see them fly off, or they just vanish?
You see the glowy light fly off to the end of the universe.
Yeah. And then we get this whole ending is like very beautifully animated.
Yeah.
We get a lot of shots of the Earth as like this light starts to envelop around it.
You like become a ring around it.
Yeah. And then we get the badass ending music. What's it called? Beyond Time? Beyond the Time?
Beyond the Time.
Yeah. And that is it, pretty much. There's no confirmation, but Amuro and Char are pretty much dead.
Yeah.
And, they vanish away, and Bright is just like, huh.
Bright is horrified.
Yeah.
And so is Hathaway. We get shots of both of them reacting with horror.
There's a post-credit scene where Sayla looks up and says, well, my work here is done.
She's like, oh, fuck!
Yeah. They go, they're gone. That's it. That's how it ends, you know? Killed in action, I guess, is the best way to put it.
It's very ironic, because this is like the affirmation of Zeon's new type idea, Zeon Daekun's new type ideology. And it's caused by the one guy Char hated the most in the world. Well, love-hated.
So this is like the biggest example of new type powers in all of the Gundam series, right?
Yeah. Basically, this would be like, yeah.
Yeah. And, it only costs, 2 people their lives.
Oh, and also the people in Tibet.
No, I meant like the new type abilities.
Well, I mean, a few of those guys did explode, trying to push it back.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah, so that's that it ends there with like all of these shots of the Earth being enveloped in this energy, and that's
the perfect ending for a Universal Century.
Yeah, they never continued it after that, which was
good.
And that's it for Char's counterattack. So let's dig in here. Let's give ourselves some final rounds, final talks here.
First off, coolest robot?
The Gundam, the new Gundam.
Kyo?
I like the Zaku from Mobile Suit Gundam. That's my favorite.
No, from this movie.
Oh yeah, the new Gundam.
Oh, I was going to say the GZ Easy.
The GG Easy?
Yeah, it's got a cool face.
The new Gundam just looks...
Yeah, the new Gundam slaps. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
I should mention that new is a Greek letter new.
Yes. Anyway, yeah, Char, was he right?
I think he had a few like bad ideas, probably.
The film, clearly not. The way the world is going, yes.
Well, yeah, he was right about pollution and all that. But...
Yes. So no, this movie is about the triumph of optimism over the grim realities of our world in television.
Yeah.
That despite everything being fucked, we shouldn't give up.
It is just not a follow-up to
Miracle.
Not a follow-up to Double Zeta by any means.
Oh yeah, Double Zeta has that fucking ending is just like nothing will ever get better. Go to Jupiter with your girlfriend and just enjoy the sloppy toppy because you can't change things.
Thinking about it some more, though, I feel like Char might have still done this even if Camille was around because Haman Karn had bastardized what Zeon meant to him.
Yeah, she was killing the vibes, for sure.
And that's probably partially why he did this. But I mean, obviously the main reason was, he wanted to get that revenge. But
yeah, Camille would have given Char at least like a really good punch, though, like for sure.
Yeah, Camille would have punched him in the face at least once. Also, he would not have hesitated at all to shoot him.
He probably would.
He would not have let Quest just easily beat him up and take his gun.
He would have shot Quest too.
He would have shot them both and then been like,
with one shot.
Camille is so much more empathetic than Amuro. He would immediately figure out that Quest is trouble.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, he'd be like, this girl, something's not right.
Wow, she's just like me. For real, for real.
But he would not hesitate to kill her either. He would kill them both and then be like, Hathaway, shut up.
Yeah.
Hathaway, I don't want to hear a word about this.
So all in all, the perfect conclusion. Also watch Hathaway's Flash, which is a direct sequel to this.
Yeah. So, yeah, what are our final thoughts on this movie? Stair kind of gave his.
Well, I've seen this 15 times.
And also, it's on your favorite movies list on Letterboxd.
Yes.
Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, it was a pretty good movie, I'd say. It's all right. Yeah. No, it was good. This is good stuff. The battles were fun. The
very
tension that you want from the rivalry is all there. I think I'm ready to say it here right now.
Oh,
Char and Amuro is the best anime rivalry of all time.
Perhaps, yeah.
I mean, does it get better?
They're pretty chill.
Like, sure, maybe Goku and Vegeta if they threaten to kill each other and have sex at the same time. But they never do. They don't roll around in the grass.
Yeah. Well, there is that one scene when Vegeta has him pinned against the wall and slaps him in the face repeatedly.
Well, here's the other reason, which is that they might roll around in the grass, but when they're rolling around in the grass, they're not talking about ideology.
Yeah.
They're just being like, "Oh, you're strong. You're not stronger than me, Kakarot."
They don't really have ideology, do they? Goku,
they're very myopic.
Yeah. No, they like Vegeta does not believe in anything. He's just a genocidal maniac who happens to be on their side at some point.
Yeah.
And Goku likes to eat food and punch guys.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, Goku is more likely to set up a Char's counterattack scenario to get a good fight.
The Earth doesn't have any good fighters. It needs to be destroyed so the good people can rise up.
I'm going to do something wicked. So, come and sense me, Beerus.
You think you're the god of destruction? Check this out.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll give this a big old tune in. This is a good one. I mean, with the caveat that you have to watch Gundam and Zeta Gundam at least.
Yes. And Double Zeta if you want to know where those dummies came from.
Yeah.
And also why Gyune is so fucked up in the head.
Also, if you like Haman Karn a lot, you should watch Double Zeta as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's tune in, right, Keo? What are your takes on? What's your final take on this?
Yeah, I didn't enjoy as much as you guys did, but I liked it.
Oh.
I don't really know like what to say about like why I wasn't like enraptured with it like you guys seem to be, but I can't really articulate
Lots
it.
of people have complained about Char jumping back into bad guy mode and saying it's too abrupt.
It was extremely abrupt compared to like where he was at in Zeta Gundam. They kind of explain it like after the fact in the movie, but it's just like he seemed to at least had some genuine character development in Zeta, but it's just like completely gone. He's like worse than he ever was.
Well, it doesn't help that Char by his nature will not share his own inner reflections with others.
Yeah,
he's
true.
Very deliberately enigmatic.
It leaves it open to a lot of interpretations.
Basically, yeah. This film does hurt because it's basically the last 4 episodes of a Gundam series we never get to see. Besides that bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also
cool robots.
There's cool robots, beautifully animated, all that good stuff. That's the main takeaway for me, really. The story itself, though, it's like it's got Char, it's got Amuro. They're hanging out, fighting each other.
They should have kissed.
Yeah, they should have had like a quick little like just to see how it felt kind of kiss, you know.
They should have kissed to stop Axis from hitting the Earth.
The asteroid would have just like flown away.
Well, I'm thinking though,
pop music plays.
I'm thinking though they're fighting, and then Amuro's like, "Wait a second, Char," and Char's like, "What is it, Amuro? We're fighting." And Amuro's like, "I want to just do a quick kiss just to see like how it feels."
They kiss in the mobile suits.
No, they hop out.
The Gundam kisses a Sasabi.
No, imagine the power of if you kiss in the mobile suits while the psycho frame is going off.
Yeah, and it's like pretty intense, and then they're like, "Yeah, that was great, but let's get back to the fight."
No, Char's like, "Oh no, I've wasted my life."
Imagine the ending here, where they're trying to push they're fighting, and then like they're trying to push the asteroid, and then Amuro's like, "Char, wait," and they kiss in the mobile suit, and then like the power, the spirit energy like enraptures it, and then Lala shows up, and she's like, "You finally did it. You freed us all." And like all these spirits push the asteroid away.
Yeah. She grabs it with her hand and just tosses it aside.
And like Amuro and Char are just like unsure what to do with the rest of their life now.
Yeah.
But still alive. Anyway, yeah, good movie. Good stuff.
Yeah, greatest of all time.
It's a tune in on Char's Counterattack.
Yeah,
and hey, listen,
I hope you watched it before this episode, because I can't imagine this making any sense.
Well,
maybe we
you
should
never know.
edit in a disclaimer at the beginning that it's recommended that you watch it before we go through the whole recap versus after.
I did a tweet.
Okay, a tweet's not sufficient.
I linked to the movie.
Okay, that's not sufficient, though.
All right, I'll do it again.
I mean,
Yeah,
how does everyone get to
That's
this
how you get it.
through tweets, like only?
That's right, at TV Tuners.
What if people are subscribed on their favorite podcatchers of their choice? They would just see it on their feed and watch it.
Okay,
listen to
we'll
it.
do the disclaimer.
So yeah, this is a Buy Me a Coffee episode. If you're wondering when we're going to get back to the main feed, don't worry, episode 150 will get there. But we're going to catch up with this Buy Me a Coffee stuff for a bit. It's still there, by the way. If you one coffee gives you an episode for us to discuss of your choosing. We've got a backlog of stuff. Next week, we're going to be back in the world of Stars Hollow, where we're going to be talking about Gilmore Girls once again.
There's angry
there'll be
about
no
this.
tonal whiplash from this to that at all.
Oh, we are too weighed down by Earth's gravity.
But yeah, until then, hey, we'll still be here.
Beyond the time.
Beyond time. And until next week, keep watching. Bye. It's over.
A mother figure?
Hey, it's time for the TV Tuners Gundam fact of the year. Did you know that Stairmaster has his own Quebly unit?
It's true. I built it myself to honor Haman Khan.